Let's talk about fan service in anime for a little bit. Um, there's an article up on cbr.com. There's most likely going to be a link in the description to this video to the article. That mostly focuses on Fire Force's anime fan service. If you've seen Fire Force at all, you know that there's a running gag in the show where a certain female with, we'll just say, a certain assets, a couple of big assets, constantly sort of puts herself in compromising situations, let's say, as sort of her power, I guess, is for a lack of a better term. And I mean, first of all, the article's name is "Could Fire Force's over-the-top fan service be its downfall?" I think so. I think that it could be. I mean, over-the-top fan service in any show could really be the downfall of said show. And I mean, I'm not saying that I'm complaining about any kind of fan service, whether it's fan service for the guys or fan service for the ladies or what have you, but I just feel like done too much, it can ruin a show because in order to get people to continue watching, I think you need to spread out the fan service a little more instead of doing it every other episode or even in every episode, which I'm not saying Fire Force has fan service in every single episode, but I just feel like it's, maybe once or twice, or, I think maybe 3 times per season is a decent amount of time for, a decent amount of episodes for fan service, to have fan service. I always like to think that every good anime has at least one swimsuit or like beach episode, you know what I mean, where it's, nothing but fan service the whole episode. And I feel like Fire Force is one of those shows where it's all right, it's okay. The storyline itself is not horrible, but I kind of feel like in order to retain the audience, they need the fan service. That's personally how I feel about it. I'm not saying it's a horrible show. It's probably a 7 out of 10 for me. It's a good show, but I just, if a show needs to have the fan service in like every episode or every other episode, it becomes more or less sort of an ecchi anime rather than an action anime or a slight, you know what I mean? Like, if it's marketing itself in one genre, but it just keeps having fan service in every episode, like over-the-top fan service. Like, if every episode is a beach episode, then it just, at that point, it just becomes an ecchi anime, and you sort of just lose everyone, and everybody kind of becomes blind to the plot of the show, which I feel like is probably one of the more important aspects of the show, especially if it's a show based on a manga or even a light novel, for that matter. If every episode, if it's not an ecchi anime to begin with, then I don't feel like you need to have super over-the-top fan service all the time. I mean, yes, fan service is nice. I love me some good fan service every now and again. But again, like I said, if it's every episode, if it's more than like 2 or 3 episodes a season, or like more than 2 or 3 episodes in the whole series, if it's a 1 season show, then I kind of feel like it's it becomes an ecchi or even a kind of a more adult show. I know there's a word for it, but I can't really think of it. A hentai. That's the word. If the fan service is every episode, then it becomes. I'm just repeating myself over and over again at this point. But I'm not saying that shows can't have fan service. They absolutely can. But if you're making that fan service a part of the character's personality, then they have no personality at all, because it's, they can't really develop as a character, because everybody just looks at them as that one character that gets, partially nude in every episode, or you know what I mean? Like, I feel like if it happens all the time, then that character can't really develop. That character can't grow. They can't develop as like their own standalone character. Like, they need to be partially naked all the time for them to be an interesting character to people. And I don't know, I just feel like that kind of ruins the show a little bit, to me personally anyways. Like, I'm not against fan service. I like it every once in a while, but and like I've said before, every good show needs to have its beach episode, or pool episode, or whatever, to kind of show off, and to have a little bit of that fan service. But again, if every character is stripping down to their boxers in every single episode, look at Kill la Kill. That show is all fan service, and it does it perfectly, because that show, it's so ridiculous. The whole point of it is just so ridiculous that the fan service is just sort of kind of takes a back seat. You know what I mean? But everyone loves everybody who's seen Kill la Kill that I know of absolutely loves the show, and so do I. I think it's ridiculous enough that the fan service in pretty much every episode works. I mean, even not every single episode, but there's, it's pretty much the entire show is, it's an ecchi from beginning to end, no doubt about it. But if your show is not an ecchi anime, and it's an action anime, or a slice of life anime, or anything that's not supposed to be sort of adult in nature, and you have this one character that just keeps accidentally getting nude or partially naked or stripping down to their undergarments, whether they intend to or not, I kind of feel like that's their entire personality as a character, and I kind of feel like it just ruins the show in a way. So that's my take on it. Again, to answer the question, could Fire Force's over-the-top fan service be the end of the show or be its downfall? Yes, it can. It can be the downfall of any show, that's not explicitly over-the-top like Kill la Kill is. That's sort of like my peak. That show is just ridiculous on so many other levels, Kill la Kill, that, again, the fan service just kind of takes a back seat. But if the show is not intended to be sort of on the naughtier side, then yes, the over the top fan service can be, and most likely will be, the downfall of the show. And I'm not saying no shows should have fan service, but it's just done. If it's done the right way, then it's fine. But if it's just every single episode, then it can kind of ruin the show for a lot of people. So yes, the over-the-top fan service most likely will be the downfall of Fire Force. So that's about all I have to say for that.